Whether you call it soccer or football, it's still a beautiful game. This game brings so much love and joy. The players go out there every single night and they put their heart on the line. But it's not just a game, it's the passion that millions of people around the world carry in their hearts. This game brings people from all over the world together. And the World Cup is so amazing that every team competing has a whole entire country by their side rooting for them. Soccer has an effect that no other sport has, and we are blessed to be able to experience it night in and night out. I fell in love with the game of soccer from a very young age. I started playing when I was around 6 years old, and throughout my time playing, there was ups, there was downs, but every single moment was a lesson that I knew I could learn from, and something that I would remember for the rest of my life. I remember when my mom signed me up for my first house league season. It was one of the best days of my life. I was so happy, I swear I had a smile that went from ear to ear and it lasted the entire day. I remember I used to go on YouTube and watch players like Ronaldinho, Messi, Neymar, Ronaldo, and my favorite player, Fernando Torres, and I would try to mimic the exact moves they did and then do them when I played. I took a lot of inspiration from these players, and athletes in general. They show that hard work and commitment is what separates you from the rest of the pack and determines your greatness. This right here is one of the best feelings ever. When I go to that entrance and my feet hit that green grass, it seems to be all my problems and stress disappear, and it's just me and the ball. After a long day of school and homework, no matter rain, shine, or even snow, nothing will ever beat this feeling. I played house league until I was 10 years old. It was really fun and there was never a dull moment. It got to the point where I wanted to take it to the next level, and at the end of my last house league season, the coaches from the rep team went up to my parents and told them that they wanted me to try out for the team. My parents told me the news and then asked me if I wanted to do this. I said yes with no hesitation. I knew I was ready. This right here is one of the most important parts to me. You've always got to stretch and make sure you don't injure yourself. Stretching gets your body in motion and ready to play. The last thing you want is for your body to be stiff and then not being able to perform to the best of your abilities. Now that I knew I was ready to take it to the next step and try out for the rep team, it was time to start taking things a little bit more serious. This was going to show if I was good enough to take it to the next level. And since the rep season started a little after the house league season, I didn't have to wait too long for the tryout. And when the tryout came, it was held on 2 different days. I don't remember much, but I remember not playing my best and coming home to my dad not in the greatest mood. Even though I didn't play the greatest, it was still enough to make the team. The team I was playing for were the Mississauga Falcons. I was quite nervous to start the season, as I've always been shy around new people. I ended up becoming really close with my teammates, and we played together for 2 years. In those 2 years, I mainly played left wing and sometimes right wing. We won a ton of games and played in a bunch of tournaments. Unfortunately, the club folded and went out of business. I learned and grew a lot through those 2 years, as a person and a player. I knew that I wasn't done yet and that I wanted to continue and keep getting better. Knowing that I wanted to continue playing, I was in search for a new team to play at. I spent quite a while looking for a new team. Luckily, a friend that I've known since kindergarten was actually playing for a team. His dad was actually the one that created the team. The team was called Epic FC, and they had immense talent at many age groups. Along with that, they had really amazing coaches. I was invited to a couple of practices to see if I liked it and see if the coaches liked me. After the practices, I was very intrigued, and me and my parents decided that this is where I was going to play next. Like every kid who plays soccer, their dream is to make it their job and become a professional. My aspirations were no different, and I believe this new team I was joining could help me achieve my goals. The coaches and the staff were really dedicated to the team and helping each individual player reach their potential. The coaches really believed in our team, and it showed right off the bat. After a bunch of practices, it was time for the summer season. The coaches assessed my ability throughout those practices and came to the conclusion that I was going to be our starting left back. Going into the first game, I was pretty nervous. Not only did I want to impress my coach, but I wanted to impress my parents as well. We ended up tying our first game 1-1, but it was just the beginning. We got better and better every single game and ended up winning the rest of our matches and finishing the season undefeated. I remember after the final game of our season, my coach pulled me and a couple more of my teammates aside. He told us that he picked us to go try out for the 03 All-Star team that was going to play in a tournament in New Jersey. I was super excited, and when I told my parents, they were really proud of me. Although I was happy, I knew that there was still work to be done in order for me to actually go and make this team. My team was still practicing after the season finished, so I was preparing myself for this tryout. When the tryout came, I was beyond ready and determined to make this team. I arrived at the field, got my gear on, and saw how many good players there was. I was a little nervous, but I stayed calm and locked in. The coach asked us what position we played, and we began to scrimmage. I played some of my best soccer during this tryout, and I was confident that I was going to make this final team. After the tryout, I was quite happy with my performance. In the meantime, I returned to practice with my team as we had to wait a few days for the coach to pick the final team. About a week later, after one of my practices, my coach told me that I made the final team. I was beyond happy, and so were my parents. It started to feel like all my hard work was finally paying off. Now that I made the All-Star team, I practiced with my normal team and then practiced with the All-Star team. That meant I practiced 4 times a week, 3 with my normal team and then 1 with the All-Star team. The coach of the All-Star team used these practices to see every player's strengths and in the end to make the starting lineup. He told us what the starting lineup would be during our last practice, and I was selected as the team's starting left back. Being a starter made me feel so good and gave me a huge boost of confidence. Since the tournament was in New Jersey, me and my parents had to drive there. The drive was around 8.5 hours long, so it definitely wasn't a fun time. The tournament was called the EDP Cup, and it was 2 days long. We had to leave the day before because our first game was early in the morning. Our team stayed in a hotel as we were there for 2 nights. Our age group had 13 divisions in total, and we played in the third highest one. There was 2 groups of 4 teams, and the 2 top teams from each group would advance to play in the semifinals. In the qualifying round, we played 3 games. We went undefeated, winning against a team from Virginia, and then getting a win and a draw against 2 of the top-ranked teams from New Jersey. We finished top of the group with 7 points, 7 goals for, and 4 goals against. We were now on to the semifinals against another team from New Jersey. We went back to the hotel and got some rest as the semifinals game was tomorrow. Going into the game, our team was feeling very confident and we ended up winning the game 3-1. Now we were heading into the finals and I was quite nervous. We were facing the best team in the entire state of Connecticut. We knew it wasn't going to be easy, but we still believed in our ability. Unfortunately, we ended up losing the game 3-0 and taking home the silver medal. Although nobody likes to lose and we didn't walk away with the gold medal, we were still very proud of how hard we played every single game. I like to live by the quote, you either win or you learn. Losing is a learning experience and it gives you the motivation to strive to become better. This doesn't just apply to sports, it applies to anything in life. Life is full of losses and it isn't just about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up. Now that the tournament was over, I was back to training with my regular team. At the time, we weren't part of a winter league, but me and some of the other O3 boys were selected to play with some of the O2 boys in a futsal cup. The tournament was 2 days long as we spent the first day playing group matches and the second day playing elimination matches. We were confident that we could win the whole thing. We played our group games at some school, and we finished the day undefeated, winning all of our games. The next day, we played our elimination games at Canlan. There was the quarters, the semis, and then the finals. Unfortunately, I don't remember the scores, but we won the quarters and the semis, and we were off to the finals. We were facing a team from Brampton, and I remember I was marking a player, and he received the ball, threw his arm back, and elbowed me right below my eye. I didn't go down, but it hurt, and my face went numb. When I came off, my coach got mad at me because I should have went down so the ref could stop the game. We ended up winning the game and taking home the first place trophy. We were really happy with our performance and glad we could win the whole tournament. My face still hurt after the game, and my right cheek began to bruise and then swell up, but I was fully healed after like a week or so. I was in grade 9 and I was returning back to practice to prepare for the outdoor season. Practice by practice, I started to lose motivation and my work ethic was getting worse and worse. My dad started to notice and he got pretty mad at me a couple of times. I continued to lack motivation and me and my dad decided it was best if I stopped playing. It was pretty sad to think that it was all coming to an end. I tried getting back into it, but for some reason I just couldn't do it. I spent a lot of time contemplating what went wrong and I just couldn't quite figure it out. I think it just came down to the fact that I lost my desire to play competitively and I just didn't want to go to practice anymore. Like they say, not every story has a happy ending, and although I ended up quitting soccer and giving up on the dreams I had when I was a kid, I would cherish all the memories that were created. I learned so much about myself playing soccer and I will continue to carry everything that I learned with me for the rest of my life. The thing is with soccer and sports in general is that you don't just play to become a better player or play to have fun. Playing sports teaches you so many life lessons that will help you with anything for the rest of your life. And although I haven't played competitively in 3 years, I just turned 18, so hopefully when COVID is gone, I can join my older brother's men's league team. I still love soccer, and I'll never lose my love for the sport. The sport still means so much to me, and it's a part of my everyday life. Whether it's waking up at 7 a.m. on a weekend to watch my favorite team, or just coming to the field to play and get my mind off things. The beautiful game always put a smile on my face, and I'll love it till the day I die. Thanks to everyone for watching my short film, and Miss Navas for an amazing quadmester. That right there is my story.